Ladies and gentlemen, top of the morning or afternoon to ya. I hope everything's going well today. Much love, amigos. In today's video, we actually have this video brought to you by some ice cream today. I went for a walk with the Mama Dukes, take her around the walk. It's a beautiful day. My allergies are all-time high. Better get some Zyrtec D soon, or I'm probably going to put myself in a comatose. No big deal. But supposedly this is cookie dough and Nutella. I'm not too sure what's true here. However, let's take a bite. Full cam it, editor. Full cam it. I can't even breathe right now. The allergies are getting me. It's that damn tree pollen. I swear I said what I said. However, let's take a bite of it and see what this is all about. This is not even Nutella. I was lied to. This is not Nutella. It's chocolate. I was fucking lied to. This is unbelievable. It's pissing me off. However, today's a beautiful day in general. Get the Poland Spring. Much better than this. Wash it down. Oh, yeah. Indeed. Put that to the side. That ice cream's pissing me off right now. However, we got a lot of things to discuss today. We have some Paladin news, of course. We got some Paladin stuff with Aggrend on Twitter. We were going back and forth discussing some things. And we got a couple people who responded. And I'm going to show you some highlights. And then we also got some stuff to talk about Sunken Temple. Obviously, you're seeing a lot of videos on YouTube right now about people getting a fuck ton of gold, alright? By the way, if you want to send that gold my way, I'll gladly take it. Much love to you. However, at the end of the day, it's actually pretty nuts right now what people are doing in Sunken Temple as far as the 6 out of 8 and doing the exploits with the Nightmare Seeds. So I actually have some video stuff of me and my guild doing some shit like that last night. It was kind of cool. But overall, I do think it's like, obviously it's going to get fixed. If it doesn't get fixed, I'll be surprised if Blizzard doesn't fix it. But anybody can go in there right now with a group. If you have 6 out of 8 of it, of just Aranicus, if you didn't clear the other 2 bosses, you can get yourself a fuck ton of money right now in Nightmare Seeds. So let me save that for later. We'll discuss it in a little bit. And let's get to the video. Good job on that transition there, editor. I'm proud of you. I said what I said. However, Seal of Martyrdom added to Paladin class tuning changes as of today of April 16th. So it looks like Blizzard added some tweaks to Seal of Martyrdom for Paladins on the upcoming class tune for SOD. Blizzard announced a few days ago that the classes would be receiving some light tuning this upcoming week, and Paladins had a change of to their Light's Grace rune slot, which we talked about with the wrist slot rune now being in that position for Holy Paladins. And now Seal of Martyrdom is also on the list, buffing its mana return values. So it seems like the Martyrdom mana return values have been increased significantly, and as the phases have progressed, the values and effectiveness of Shamanistic Rage has been increased, and the mana has essentially become negligible concern for many of Horde raids utilizing multiple shamans in Phase 3. And hey, Horde, more power to you. If you're going to have multiple shamans in a raid, it's just going to be much easier for you to clear it. At the end of the day, the class is good. Why not use the class? However, the mana return of Seal of Martyrdom has been comparatively quite modest since the launch of SOD. So we've decided to significantly buff the mana return values of Seal of Martyrdom to bring it in line with the mana return of Shamanistic Rage. We recognize the current phase has seen caster power progression fall behind that of melee specs, so we don't want to further increase that divide at this time. We also don't want to hinder raid groups who made the progress in this raid last week with a nerf. In general, we feel that a mana as a resource should matter, and in the next patch we're going to evaluate and tune down mana return mechanics as a whole to ensure that there is still gameplay around managing it. Yeah, because, I mean, at the end of the day, you want to obviously manage your mana, but you don't want to have an overabundance of mana where now the resource is no longer a thing to ever worry about. So I get what they're trying to do with balancing the game out. However, I do think, Paladins needed that edge in Seal of Martyrdom to have it a little bit more in line with, the values of, like, Shamanistic Rage in general, because it wasn't really as good as they, made it seem to be. And, like, anytime I raid noticed the values was very lightly, and now, like, looking at it, it looks like possibly, from the original base value of what it was, a friend of mine was talking about it, and he was saying that he thinks that, with geared paladins, it might be putting out around 40 mana per 5, which is actually one of my boys in my guild, and we were discussing it, so shout out to Bear for that one. But yeah, it's very interesting in general to see how it's going to play out. Maybe those values can go up a little higher with more gear. Who knows? But overall, just the values of Seal and Martyrdom in general, it seems really nice, and we would get to see to try this out this this week coming up with the next raid. I'm very intrigued about that. Or hell, maybe even tonight when we do some like dungeons with me and my friends, we might even go in BRD and give that a shot. But overall, in the next article, Righteous Orbs no longer dropping in Season Discovery Phase 3, which I'm very happy about. Blizzard put out a blue post here saying with the hotfix that went live to all realms earlier today, Righteous Orbs no longer drop during Phase 3 of Season Discovery. They'll become available as intended for Phase 4. I'm very happy about this because at the end of the day, this wasn't intended at all for this phase, so more power to Blizzard for removing it because people that were able to get this, obviously majority of just hunters for their guilds or in general, were selling it for 3k gold, right? Not the orbs, the plans themselves were selling for 3k or 3k gold, but I saw some people in my chat were saying that these orbs were selling for like over 2,000 or some crazy number. All right, at the end of the day, that's fucking absurd. That's ridiculous. Next phase, we're all gonna be going the strat, farming these out, getting them, and obviously people will skyrocket the prices of the first couple of weeks because of the fear of like the FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? But overall, I don't think this should be a part of the game as of the current state. I think if you have certain, like a very little amount of people, very small percentage of people now that might have Crusader on their weapon, I'm hearing supposedly that those logs might get invalidated because you're not supposed to have that much compared to everybody else. Now, I do think it's badass if you're walking around with it. Don't get me wrong. You are the high one. You are the praised one. Make a statue in the cathedral for them. However, it's still a little nuts, and I don't blame Blizzard for getting this out of here. Like save this for next phase, and that's totally fine. I think it's cool that people have the ability to farm it, but the fact that you're able to use it this phase is just a little too nutty right now. We have a whole another phase and more to go with other raids, and that's going to be one of the best enchants, if not the best melee enchant in the game. So let's settle down and lock it in for next phase. Now, as far as talking on Twitter, I was like, you know what? I'm going to hit him up. I'm going to hit up Aggrend. And I apologize if I'm sniffing. My allergies are really bad today, guys. I'm sorry. The season fucks me up the most. I really wanted to ask this because I believe a lot of Paladins are kind of in the same boat about this issue here. I love Psalm being normalized for Seal Mardon for being fast-paced weapon builds at the moment because obviously we're using it so much to just get the faster procs with Art of War, and Seal Martyrdom is just kind of busted right now inside anyways, where how much of an advantage it is using that compared to Divine Storm and Seal of Command. And a lot of people even said too they feel like Seal of Command DS just feels like a wet noodle, which they're not wrong about. However, I feel like it is overshadowing Divine Storm and Seal of Command builds by a heavy margin. So I then hit him up with this. I said, is there any plans of improving Seal of Command with Divine Storm to make it viable for slow two-hand usage? I really miss using slower weapon with that build, and since everything is based on being really fast, I feel like automatic Crown Pummeler is just not as fun in comparison. So I wasn't expecting anything from the homeboy. So much love to you, Aggrend. If you're watching the video, he followed me back. He's a great man. Somebody give that guy a clap in the chat. Much love to him. Great individual. But he responded back. Homie responded back. And he actually responded back really nice. So let's take a sip of water. Not bad. Clears the throat piece. And let's read it here. Because we read it yesterday, but I wanted to read with you guys on video today. So, I've been thinking about this myself a lot, to be honest. I don't think it was ever really the intent for Seal of Martyrdom to be the only way to play in the long term. I'd like it if Seal of Command / Divine Storm was more on par with it. I do think we need to be realistic, though. I'm already stuttering. I have no idea what's going on. That there will always be a numerically best, and whatever the best is, even if the gap is very narrow, it will be presented by the community as the only way to play. And that's understandable, because that is very true. Like, once a meta is found within something, people will be like, oh, you're doing that build? You're fucking basically throwing. Oh, you're doing this spec? What are you even playing the game for? You're wasting your time. When in reality, people could just be having fun with that, and they prefer that spec to play. There's nothing wrong with that. I made this comparison several videos ago about how I love fighting games, and if I play a certain character and he's not the meta character, I don't give a fuck what the meta character is. I enjoy that character's kit, and if they buff that character, great. Then I know I was rocking with that character since the beginning, since the gutter days, so I don't give a fuck. If I enjoy it, I enjoy it. So I understand what he's getting at this part. Then he goes on saying, "There's a lot of that going on in WoW right now," which he's not wrong. Even though every DPS class has perfectly functional playstyles. I don't know why I can't read. What am I, Mayweather? And a few playstyles that haven't been really tapped into yet. The best build tends to be viewed as the only build, and even if most reasonable people know that that just isn't true with how the content has been tuned so far. That is, I mean, I understand that. Like at the end of the day, play the build that you want to have fun with the most, and even though people are finding like the best builds to play, which is true, I mean, once you find the build, if you're not really playing the other build, you are losing out on a proportion of DPS. But then at the end of the day, you have to also make the argument that that's up to Blizzard and the devs to look at those builds that are not completing or are not competing fairly on par with their other, spec like individuals, like marksman hunters to melee hunters, to combat rogues, to assassination rogues, or subtle rogues, from ret paladin to shocking. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like the list goes on, and that's up to Blizzard and the devs to take care of that and fix that. I don't think that's as much of it's a community thing to recognize and acknowledge it. The devs have to take care of that. So that's something on their end. That's something the community can't just do without we test it, but we let them know, but they have to answer back. So that part, I'll leave it at that. So while I'd like to see this playstyle compete better, if we make it better than Seal Martyrdom / Fast Attacks even slightly, then the argument will just shift to, well, now I'm forcing the Seal of Command and Divine Storm and less utility for the raid. Or, I know Seal of Command / Divine Storm is better, but my raid is making me be a martyr for mana. From now, the most peaceful solution is let Seal and Martyrdom keep the edge, but I'm hoping we can play around with itemization and other tactical changes at 60 once all the runes are out, and we can stabilize the changes a bit to help with the sort of thing. Not just Paladins, but with more classes that find themselves in the same boat. And this got 19k views, by the way, guys. So this seems like it was a hot topic, which I'm really happy a lot of people are taking their interest into it. At the end of the day, I understand what Aggrend is saying. You're always going to find people on the sides of the spectrum that are going to, shit on one spec of their own class more than another. And even just shit on classes just in general if you're playing them the way that you want to play them. But I feel like no matter what, this is a responsibility and a dedication that the devs have to make to the community in figuring out. Because you are right, like no matter what, you're gonna find a way to pick the meta no matter what, and something's always gonna overshadow something. It's just the way natural of things, and it's understandable of that. But it's how you try to compensate for those classes, and this is what I was talking about in like a lot of other videos, where I feel like there has to be a line drawn between, and let's zoom in for a second, let's talk about this, let's be real, okay? You have to find a line that's drawn between PvP and PvE, and balance has to be made for both of those accordingly, where Divine Storm and Seal of Command would work one way in PvP and work a different way in PvE, where it's viable in PvE and it works really well, and it would work really well in PvP. The same thing with Seal of Martyrdom and Seal of Martyrdom in PvP, PvE. So what I'm getting at is that I think there needs to be a barrier. Now, they probably do this in retail. I know maybe some people in the comments are saying they already do this shit in retail. Okay, that's fine. Thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate your retail Andy knowledge. You're pissing me off. Put them on high alert. They say that. I said what I said. However, I'm just getting at that. Like, for the better health overall value for Season of Discovery, for Classic WoW, and for future Classic Plus, there has to be that gap. I'm trying to line it out perfectly with the camera. There has to be that gap. I can't do it. There has to be a middle line, is what I'm saying. All right, don't make me I'll execute you right now, Paladin style. However, that's what I'm getting at. There has to be that line, and they have to figure that out. Whether they're ever going to do that within, Season of Discovery in general. I think, honestly, Divine Storm and Seal of Command is my favorite way to play the Paladin. I think also if they were ever to involve twisting, that would be really cool, with, Seal of Command and Martyrdom. But at the same time, adjust the values appropriately, where it doesn't totally shaft out people that want to do fast Seal of Martyrdom based builds, or Shockadin, or, you know, anything else, or wreck builds. You know, let's not forget about reckoning. You know, wreck is a thing, right? And there's so many different ways of classes playing their classes, you know, and I respect that, the fact that there's so many different like meme specs and stuff like that. So I think it would just be cool. You know, here's my thing. This is season discovery after all. So let's discover all these alternatives. Let's go through all these routes, and I really hope at the end of 60 that no matter what, we find a solution where all classes are be able to be played. And this is what I even said too, you know, and I said this here. Um, I said this here at one of my posts. I respect this, amigo. Much love to you, giving some attention to the thoughts. I definitely understand no matter how things swing around, the community will always find one side of the spectrum being better than the other. I do hope, though, at the end of SOD, most people can at least say, I truly had an opportunity to enjoy the totality of my entire class and what it had to offer. I really am enjoying SOD as it is right now, and I really think the room for growth with all classes / specs is high, so lock it in. And that's the truth of it, because I truly believe that if we are able to get to the point of SOD where, um, you know, you get there and at the end you're like, man, I had fun playing this spec, and they made this spec come online, and everybody had an opportunity to play the most efficiently out of their class. That is the dream, right? And obviously, I'm choking right now. The allergies is killing me. However, that is the dream, and if that were to ever happen within, you know, at the end of SOD, or even after SOD is over, or within Classic Plus, if they were to announce something, hopes and prayers, right? Hopes and prayers, but we can obviously, you know, only wait. We can't expect, you know, the best at this moment. We can only expect what's going to come, and that's all I got to really say about that. So another post, even even S-Fan answered back about it, and still faintly holding out hope for the big two-hand Seal of Command Martyr twist, basically TBC style, builds to come out for before level 60. And I got to agree with him, man. I have to agree with him there. I want to see all of it. I want to see what everything has to offer within SOD, because as much of Martyrdom is fun for others, it's not fun for another portion of Paladins. And in my belief, I don't like the fact that we have to stick to Pummeler. If we got this epic weapon, you know, Solthraz the Lasher, that should be the weapon we're fucking using, or something out of Raid in general. That's just my opinion. I'm not a fan of the whole switch. I think they need a nerf Pummeler, to be honest. I think they need a nerf the haste and just get rid of it. I'd rather just use the Lasher and then trash the Pummeler. Just my opinion. So let's zoom in for a second. Sorry, I'm dying here, guys, but I'm shooting a video while dying. I'm still putting out content. Don't worry, the kid's pumping. You best believe it, and pumping in many ways. Not that type of video. So, last night, this is us right here. I'm gonna show you something. Inside footage. You probably already seen it already going on. So hold on. That's my camera. We'll put my camera a little bit over the one that we were showing. But basically, this is exactly what you're seeing and what you think it is. It is Sunken Temple. It is going within the raid and clearing the mobs. Straight up. Do I have it full screened? Do I have it full screened? Oh, sorry. There we go. So, we were in here clearing the mobs out, killing them. We went in with a couple raid members that we managed to only do 6 out of 8 last week with, and we were basically just clearing the mobs out and collecting nightmare seeds. Now, I've seen some videos of like hunters and mages being able to like bring in their ult, reset it, and then basically just, you know, go within the raid over and over again by themselves. We had a group of people. We tried doing the alt thing. It didn't work for us for some reason. Maybe we did it wrong. But overall, what we did is as we went in there as a group and we just waited IRL like every 30 minutes after we cleared out all the ads in here. And then we just basically just cleaned it all up. I'm sorry if my camera, let me fix the camera a little bit for you guys. It's not perfect, but I'll leave it right there. You know I don't do these things. It's always raw, uncut, all right? No special editing. However, dude, this is the way to get nightmare seeds right now. I think on the neutral auction house last night, they were selling for like 40 gold a pop, and supposedly people have been doing this on like a week basis already of making a fuck ton of gold. Mages and hunters been finding, you know, the little paths and ledges to jump upon to basically cheese this. But overall, I think realistically on the normal auction houses, these are going for a low of like 18 to 19 gold to around 24, 25 gold a high. Now, I'm not too sure on the Horde end. Horde, you can let me know how much nightmare seeds are in the comments below. But if you're trying to make a good amount of fucking money, and if Blizzard doesn't patch this week, it's almost looking like people are going to be doing the raid with the intention Because you could technically kill Aranicus, right, if you want to, and just still try to just kill at least 6 out of the 8 bosses, right? But overall, people are going to going within this raid with the intention just to farm and make a fuck ton of money. I'm telling you, this is a really good method right now of making money. And don't sleep on Nightmare Incursions either, right? Nightmare Incursions, you can get a few fucking 100 gold easily every couple, hand-ins and just keep banging out gold. Nightmare Incursion is actually a phenomenal way of still making gold, and I'm actually going to do a fuck ton today myself, just chilling with some friends. But this right here is like I think it was every 10 or 20 seeds, it's like 500, or maybe 20 seeds, it's like over 500 and something gold. And if you're just racking it in, you're making a lot of fucking money. To the point where I think a lot of people might not have gold issues coming into next phase if you're taking advantage of these methods. So I just want to put that out there and show you that this is a thing that can be done. You can go in these runs, clear them out, kill these ads, and, go get yourself some money. And that's basically about it with the video today. This ice cream, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if I like it. I'm going to give this shit out of 5, like a 2. It's like really sludgy. I don't know. I thought it was Nutella. It's too chocolatey. I like chocolate, but it's like, it ain't hitting. However, much love, amigos. Sorry for stuttering and jumping around. Like I said, the allergies are hitting me, but I hope I can still, even when I'm sick, cranking out content. Even like I told you, when I'm in the hospital, limping around in the wheelchair. Hey, lady, just one more mongoose. Just one more mongoose. One more consume. I promise. I'm still going to be creating content. And if I see a rogue back there, hit him with a Hodge. Hit him with a Hodge. He'll probably beat me no matter what still. However, lock it in. Much love to you, amigos. And keep on keeping on as usual. I hope you enjoyed the video. And, I'm about to sneeze my mind out right now for the next probably 7 hours. So that's not a bad gig. Editor, I like the button you put that on right there. I'll hit you with a kick right now. You didn't see that kick, did you? I hit you with a kick. That's the big toe right there, right in front of his face. He almost saw it. He backed up. I almost hit him with a Daniel LaRusso. What was it, from the Karate Kid? I almost hit him with a crane kick right there. Back up. You're pissing me off. Much love to you. As always, keep on keeping on. Streams Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and we'll go from there. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.